Bakersfield, California sits at the southern end of the San Joaquin Valley and separates northern and southern California. It's the birthplace of the legendary Bakersfield Sound version of country music. It's also the home of Kern County Raceway and the season finale for NASCAR's K&N Pro Series West. After a long season of intense battles, two friends, two teammates, two rivals will settle the fight to see who will be crowned the one and only champion of the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West Tour. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Kern County Raceway, the West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame 150. Season finale for NASCAR's K&N Pro Series West. I'm Ralph Sheheen alongside Parker Kligerman, and Heather DeBow will be joining us in just a minute. Well, Parker, it's been a great season of racing, and we're down to two drivers and one title fight.
That is true, Ralph. It's going to be a tremendous fight here at Kern County, especially for Todd Gilliland, who lost the East Series Championship, so he definitely wants to win this West Series Championship.
Although you see Kern County Raceway about 113 miles north of L.A., and here's the points. Who do you give the edge to, Parker?
Well, it's very tight, but I just think Todd Gilliland has an extra motivation running for two championships this season. It would have been incredible if he was able to win two, but he has been the car to beat here in the West Series, and I just believe he has what it takes to win the championship and really wants it.
For more on the title fight, here's Heather DeBow.
Thanks, Ralph. The 2017 K&N West season comes to a close tonight, and we will crown a two-time champion. Will it be Chris Eggleston in the 99 or Todd Gilliland in the 16? We will find out shortly, but both of these drivers have been neck and neck all year long. Combined, they have won 10 of 13 races and consistently battle each other for the win week in and week out. Gilliland currently holds an 11-point lead over Eggleston and can clinch the title with a 7th-place finish or better. Eggleston just is looking to lead the most laps, win the race, and hope things fall his way. Regardless, Bill McAnally Racing will take home their 3rd title in a row and their 8th record series championship. Guys?
Well, they had their first shot at the championship of those 3 in a row in 2015 out at Phoenix International Raceway. Let's take you back in the day to that. In the 99, you had a shot at the title. Noah Gragson in the 7 and Bassett in the 04 get together with Eggleston, who survived the incident. At the end, it's Gilliland taking the win, his first in the series. But the championship and the first of 3 in a row went to Chris Eggleston for Bill McAnally Racing. So here's a look at the winners this year, and boy, Gilliland dominated out here on the West as well. He's looking for one more win here tonight to wrap up the championship for 2017. Let's go back and hear from our poll winner with Heather.
Todd Gilliland finds himself in a familiar spot here at Kern County Raceway. 2 poles, 2 wins. You now have your 3rd pole. What do you think your percentage of getting to victory lane tonight is?
Man, that's a hard one, but there's a lot of great cars out here, but I'm just lucky to be driving for Bill McAnally Racing. We've been talking about it a lot these last few days. To be entering this race first, second, and third in points as a company is huge, and very lucky to be a part of it, and look forward to a good race, hopefully upping our chances at the win.
You're going for back-to-back championships. Where are you and your team's nerves at going into this race, knowing that anything can happen in racing?
Yeah, exactly. We got a real big taste of that at Dover, with blowing a right front tire and losing the championship. But I feel like that's not going to happen tonight. We've got a faster car than we had there, and hopefully we can pace ourselves and hopefully end up in victory lane to get the championship and the win.
Best of luck to you tonight.
Thank you.
That's Todd Gilliland with his 7th pole this season.
Been a strong year, and he's looking to wrap up the championship. And we'll have the green flag when we come back for more NASCAR K&N Pro Series West on NBCSN. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Back here in Kern County, Bakersfield, California, cars are out on the track getting ready for the West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame 150. Just before we go green, let's find out who we should watch tonight, Heather.
Well, guys, the drivers to watch tonight will be our 2 championship contenders, Chris Eggleston and Todd Gilliland. Even though they are in different positions in the championship fight, they both will have the same approach to tonight's race, and that is to win. When I talked to Todd Gilliland, he told me that today is just another race, championship on the line or not, he wants to be in victory lane. And Chris Eggleston told me he's got nothing to lose. All he can do is control his race and where he finishes, and he said it'd be really fun to finish in victory lane in the final race of the season. Guys, no matter what happens, it's going to be fun to watch it all play out.
That it is, and we're going to have that green flag in just a minute. According to our starter, we got one more lap to go. What do you think of this racetrack, Parker?
Well, it's an awesome racetrack. It's a new racetrack, relatively made in 2013, but it's got some serious banking in the corners. You see there, 12 to 14 degrees, progressive, and it's very fast, as I said, just under 100-mile-per-hour average lap in qualifying.
Taking a look at our starting lineup, and boy, Gilliland just continues the domination out here on the West Coast with another pole. Riley Herbst, there's Eggleston, the other championship contender, 3 rows behind him. Anybody else jump out at you tonight, Parker?
Well, Will Rogers, who we've seen do great on the road courses in the K&N East and West Series, so I'll be keeping an eye on him, how his oval development's coming as we see him go here and make a start in the K&N West.
Good to see Davey Hamilton Jr. in the field tonight. Son of open wheels standout, Davey Hamilton. And here we go. Ready to drop the green, and we're racing at Kern County.
And notice which lane Todd Gilliland chose there, the outside lane. We're going to see that throughout this night. Being able to use that outside lane on the restarts. It's kind of the predominant line, but you can make the bottom lane work if need be. It's just a choice amongst that the drivers have and what makes this racetrack really racy.
One thing about racing here in Bakersfield is you better not be afraid of speed. This is a fast racetrack.
It definitely is. As we see a lot of those cars 2x2x2, we're going to see that throughout the night, especially on the restarts. It's just as I said, the 2 grooves are very equal. You can, if you're on the outside, you'll pinch down those bottom cars, not let them get the run, but they're also just going a shorter circumference around the racetrack. So this track is well designed and really offers a lot of multiple groove racing that we're seeing right now.
And the 19 quickly jumping out to the front. That's Derek Kraus. As Gilliland slots back into second. We saw Julia Landauer making some moves in the 6 around the outside of her teammate Michael Self. That was a few spots back behind them. Here she comes now. She's moving herself up. Wow, look at the 04. Ronnie Bassett almost got a little loose there, Parker.
Very loose, and that's one thing we'll see from the bottom. When that outside car is pinching you down, you're getting forced to use less racetrack, and so you'll actually pinch off the corner a little bit, and you can get loose. That's why we see that outside lane be able to make passes around the inside lane. And
Riley Herbst in the black and white 54. Little contact as he started to move up, and Julian Landauer was right there in her bright orange and blue number 6 Sunrise back forward.
She's making some great headway up there, but that's a scary position to be in when a car's coming up into your left front. It's really easy to cut a tire down doing that, so you got to be careful early in this race.
And it looks like up at the front of the field, the 44 of Dylan Bassett. Here he is making a move to the inside of the 19 of Kraus to take over the lead.
Dylan's really moving forward. He's using that bottom lane. Look at the drive off he has off the corner. That's where he's making a lot of time right now. It just looks like that car's really rotating center. You see him right on the white line, painting it, and then having a very straight exit. That's exactly what you want your race car to do here around Kern County.
And Julian Landauer in the 6 now starting to contest for 3rd. She's on the outside of Gilliland.
Well, yeah, and she's really stuck to that outside lane. She has not given up on it and made up a lot of headway here, taking the position from Todd Gilliland, making a lot of speed up there to see if she can run down the leaders.
Gilliland has slipped back to 4th, and now he's got his title rival, Eggleston, coming up on his outside in the 99.
And this is the interesting place for Todd. You can't let the championship kind of seep into your mind. You don't want to let the points start to make you make mistakes. You've got to stay focused on the task at hand, which is just running this race. Even if Eggleston gets ahead of him, he knows he doesn't need to win this race right now. And Eggleston has to. So basically, in this position, you just need to be smart for Todd and be able to make sure that race car is still running at the finish.
Eggleston clears him. Here comes the 22 now. That's Derek Thorne, and another one of the Sunrise Fords.
And I'd be interested to see if Todd Gillen could get to the high lane, if he might be able to use it and just see if his race car works a little bit better up there. I know he started in the high lane on the pole, and he started to fall back and just isn't making headway on the bottom. I wonder if he could move up, if he could get some clean track, he would make a little bit more speed up there.
See how they come up out of the hole, if you will, out of 2, and then up onto the back straightaway, and then back down into 3 and 4. Quite a bit of elevation changing here at Kern County Raceway. We'll be right back for more of the season finale. Welcome back to Bakersfield, California, the West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame 150 season finale for the K&N Pro Series West, and we're under our first caution of the day, and this is why. You see, all by himself up there, Parker. That's Jerry DeWert spinning.
Yeah, it just looked a little out of the groove there up in the gray pavement. A lot of times that can be slippery because there's just dust and dirt and debris up there, and that's hence why you don't want to be up there and just lost a race car.
We go back to green. DeWert, by the way, just won his second Legend Trophy title in NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. And as we go to green, the battle comes up off of 2. Then Eggleston trying to make a bid for the lead here with the 44 to the inside as Dylan Bassett tries to hang on to the bottom groove.
And this is why this racetrack is so awesome. Look how even these two grooves are. You see Bassett get a little bit in on the entry, but then Eggleston makes it up on the exit, and that's what you love to see at a racetrack like this. They've really done a great job having two very even grooves around this racetrack, as Eggleston's going to take the lead from Bassett around the outside.
Boy, he had to work to get that done, though, didn't he? He was slipping and sliding a little bit with the rear end of that Napa Filters 99.
He did, and you'll do that in this series. We see it often. You'll see a driver take 2 or 3 laps. They really push hard. They abuse those tires, trying to get a position, and once you get it, then you try to settle down. Take care of those tires. Drive the car straighter. Don't slide around as much because you want those tires to last.
There's the 04 car of Ronnie Bassett on the inside. Will Rogers in that 7. Up on the outside, that white and green machine.
We continue to see Bassett running that lower lane. Then Eggleston, he's sticking to painting that white line. We'll see if it pays off for him as we get further in the groove. Oh, very close on the exit there. But this is what's interesting to me, is seeing two drivers run 2 entirely different lanes and start to see where their race cars are working better, how they feel like they're going to take care of that race car over the long run. And that's key in this series. You've got to take care of that race car. We harp on it a lot, but taking care of those tires is really the difference between winning and losing this series, considering you've got to make them last so long.
Eggleston back out in front. Remember, he comes into the night just 11 points behind in the championship. The man who currently runs in 3rd, Todd Gilliland. Eggleston racking up 11 top 5s and 13 top 10s this year. 4 of those top 5s put him in victory lane.
And in his position, it's kind of a nice position. I've been there before racing for a championship where you came in the last race and basically you knew you need to lead the most laps and win the race. And therefore, it gives you one singular goal. You don't worry about points. You don't worry about the position. You just go out there focusing on the task at hand and the race at hand. And sometimes that gives you your best performance. And I think that's what we're seeing out of Eggleston right now. Is he knew he had one thing on his mind: go out there and lead laps and win this race. And right now he's leading because of that.
Michael Self, you saw him on the outside of Nicole Bihar's yellow and black 33. Self, the most recent winner, actually claiming the last 2 victories, Meridian, Idaho, and up the road from here in Northern California, in Roseville, California.
He's been impressive in the ARCA series as well in his limited starts there. So Michael Self definitely making a name for himself here in the lower stock car ranks.
For more on Michael Self, here's Heather DeBow.
Yeah, guys, when I talked to Michael Self earlier today, he said that they were fighting the car a little bit. Practice was a little all over the place, and they didn't unload where he wanted to. And just a few laps ago, he came over the radio and told them that he has a very bad vibration. So they're working on taking care of the car and taking care of the brakes at this point. They're also going to check the brakes and the car when they come in for the halfway break to try and find out what that vibration is. But unfortunately, Michael Self is not having the night he wanted after coming off of back-to-back wins.
Well, and there's the caution Trevor Christiani in the 90 up along the wall. Caught you coming out on lap 34. He's from Northern California, up in Ukiah.
Just came to a stop here, Ralph. I'm not exactly sure what occurred. I will see if we had a tire problem maybe on that 90. I actually see some fluid coming out from underneath the race car. That's never a good sign.
Still don't see him. Oh, there he is, way up in the other end there.
Yeah, he just starts to go up the racetrack. Either had a problem in the right front, and you see that fluid pouring out, so that could be an engine issue. Maybe got oil in the tires and decide to bring that car to a stop.
So our track crew is going to have to do a little cleanup there. While they take care of that, we'll take care of some business. We're coming right back for more of the season finale of the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West. Ready to go back to green at the West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame 150. On the front, Bassett in the 44. But the race leader is on the outside for the restart, the 99 of Chris Eggleston.
That doesn't surprise me, Ralph. That's how he got the lead in the first place. Looks like Bassett gets a great drive through 1 and 2 there. See if he can maybe clear Eggleston down into turn 3.
Kraus in the Carlisle Tools Toyota number 19 tries to grab third in front of the 16 of Todd Gilliland.
And Ralph, Bassett really drove it into turn 3 there. He got a little bit loose and went up the racetrack, and that allowed Eggleston to get a better run off of turn 4. And these two continue to battle side by side for the lead.
Oh, look at the 22 of Thorne. Just hammering, I believe, on Riley Herbst in the 54. And Eggleston gets the nose of the 99 up into clean air, and he's going to take the lead.
But Dylan Bassett is keeping him honest, just keeping right there on his left rear quarter panel, not letting him get away with it easily here. He's really using that bottom lane effectively, as we've seen him do throughout this race.
Mike Bassett has his hands full with a swarm of Bill McAnally racing machinery. Eggleston's in a McAnally car, Kraus in a McAnally car, and so is the 16 of a points leader, Todd Gilliland. Now creeping into the picture is Thorne in that 22. Those Sunrise Fords have been pretty good. Landauer has dropped back a little bit, but now Thorne coming into the frame here.
Yeah, and he used a little bit of force at some point to get towards the top 5 here in that 22 car, using that just outside right side of that race car to push another car out of the way. And that's sometimes what you'll do at this racetrack, because as we get later in the race, as we see Dylan Bassett make a dive to the inside here on Chris Eggleston for the lead, as you get later in the race, you're not going to give that outside car so much room. You're going to start to force the issue and move them up the racetrack, maybe out of the groove, and that's how you're going to make a pass.
Well, it is short track racing, but this is a fast short track, so it's kind of a weird combination. It's a bit of a hybrid, isn't it?
It definitely is. Aero does matter a little bit here, but as I've said throughout this race, you've got 2 available lanes. So if the car in front of you is running the lane that you want to be in, then switch to the other lane and try to run that and make your car work down there. But as I said, as we get later in this race, if you're going to make a pass on the bottom, it's going to have to come with a little bit of force. You're going to have to move that outside car out of their preferred groove a little bit higher than they want to be, and that's how you're going to get the pass done, because they won't be able to get the power back down.
Will Rogers in the 7 getting in front of the 9 here and keeping Michael Self out of Park City, Utah, back 1 spot behind him. And there's a really interesting battle going on, and Rogers and Self are all a part of it, along with Derek Kraus. 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the points is Kraus, Rogers, and Self. 2 points separates Kraus from Rogers, and then another 2 points back is Michael Self. So just a handful of points separating these 3, and one of them is going to end up with a top 3 finish in the point standings.
And it's very impressive for Michael Self, who actually missed the season opener as well. So he's really made some headway in the points, and it's definitely a close battle. And you want to get that 3rd place. It's just another feather in your cap to say you finished top 3 in the points in the K&N West Series for these young drivers trying to move through the ranks in NASCAR.
Getting a look at the 21 machine, Blaine Perkins out of Bakersfield. He's in the 4-Star Fruit Chevrolet. And, of course, Nicole Bihar in the 33.
We see Will Rogers actually fell behind Self there. He's actually now using the bottom lane to try and make some headway back on Michael Self. And Will Rogers, as we said earlier in the broadcast, has been great on the road courses, actually winning in the K&N East Series on a road course at Watkins Glen, which gave Kevin Harvick a great run for his money at Sonoma early this season in the K&N West. But I've been looking to see how does he do on the ovals. Remember, if you're going to be a stock car driver, it's one thing to be a road course ace, but you're going to have to make your money on the ovals, and we've seen him run here well tonight.
Past the first third of this race, Buddy Shepard, another Bakersfield resident in the 55, and here's your fight for the lead with Eggleston and Bassett. And Eggleston still running the higher groove, and it's still working for that 99.
Yeah, these two are basically conjoined at the hip at some point here throughout this whole race. It's been very impressive watching them battle it out as Bassett is able to take the lead from Eggleston. That was far too easy. I wonder if Eggleston just let him go there or is starting to conserve his tires. But Dylan Bassett made an easy pass and is driving away.
Working our way towards the halfway point here in Bakersfield. The West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame 150 season finale for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West. It's been a good fight here so far tonight. Dylan Bassett leads over Eggleston, Kraus, Gilliland, and Thorne in the top 5, and that's where the 22 sits, the tail end of that group. And he has his hands full with the 54 right now on his tail, Riley Herbst, and then teammate. Whoa, and Herbst gets into Thorne.
Gets very sideways. Wow, just started to drive it in there and just got a little bit into Thorne, and that got the car unsettled, but able to gather it up. And look at this gaggle of cars as we see here. 3 wide almost going off into turn 3, and Eggleston is falling back very fast right now. I wonder if he has an issue.
Well, we saw him give up the lead to Bassett. He's been on that outside groove all night, and now I don't think he's just hung up out there. I think he can't keep up the pace.
Yeah, maybe we've seen it a lot in this series, although maybe later in the races where someone is able to burn up their tires too early, going too hard. But this looks a little bit more severe for Eggleston right now. He's falling all the way from the lead.
Oh, man, look at that contact. And getting in the midst of it is Eggleston. Heather with more on the 99.
As you guys can see, Chris Eggleston is falling back right now. He's asking the team how many more laps until the halfway break. At this point, they have 10, so he's not going to make it. He's going to make his way down pit road. He's telling them he either has a right rear flat or the rear end is broke, but tough break for that 99.
He's got significant problems. What a shame. Eggleston's title hopes coming to an end. The right rear is flat.
And Ralph, I have to wonder if that was actually going down as he started to slip back there and then eventually just getting in the wall made it go down completely, but he was falling back so quickly. I just have to wonder he had definitely a problem as we came there because he had slowed up so dramatically.
Well, Gilliland's night just got a lot easier if he can keep the 16 on the racetrack and up in the top 3 now.
And what a shame for Chris Eggleston. He was doing everything he had to do to contend for this championship. He was up front, leading laps, hoping to lead the most laps, and fighting for the victory. And I mean, at that point, you can't put him down for doing everything he needed to do to be in this championship fight, but just not his night.
Here he comes back out as we close in on that halfway mark he was so hoping to reach. All the way back now in 23rd. Well, he's going to need a lot of help now at this point.
Yeah, it's devastating for Chris Eggleston, and you got to feel for him, his position, but the most he can hope for is to go out there and continue to have a fast race car and see if some crazy circumstances bring it his way.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a very aggressive night so far, so what Gilliland's going to have to do is avoid any type of controversy out on the racetrack, and he's got some wild ones coming up behind him.
And that can sometimes be a tough place to be in. You know, as a race car driver, 99% of the time you're in a race car, you think offensively. You think about going as fast as you possibly can each and every lap, driving that car to the best of your ability. And then when you're put in a points battle where suddenly you're hoping to be defensive, you're suddenly just having to worry about not making mistakes. That's a tough position to be in. And a lot of times I will tell a young driver that you don't want to focus on the championship at this point. Just focus on the task at hand, because if you start to think about that championship, that's when you make mistakes.
Let's get an update on Derek Thorne in the 22, Heather.
This weekend, Sunrise Ford Racing brought 3 cars to the track, including their 2013 champion, Derek Thorne. He is in that number 22 car, which has special memories for Bob Rumcati because his son used to race the number 22. And when I talked to Derek about being back, he said he's really excited to be back racing in the K&N West Series. He won an SRL race here last weekend, and he's run dozens of races here at Kern County Raceway, so he definitely knows how to get around this track. But he said it's a different driving style, so he's getting reaccustomed to that. One other note I want to mention is they do have Ryan Partridge also on hand this weekend, helping out the team because they do have 3 cars.
Well, it is getting thick up here as we approach that halfway point. And all these guys want to do is get to the front and win. And they'll take any measure to get that done. And that's what Gilliland has to be careful of.
Oh, those 2 teammates came so close there down in turn 1 of getting together. Michael Self and Derek Thorne really racing hard as we come to the halfway break.
Yeah, they're trying to get around Cody Vanderwall in that 32, and there's the caution, and Gilliland can take a breath. Things were starting to get a little sketchy up there. Not so for Dylan Bassett. He has had a great night so far. The driver out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, leads at the halfway break. Back here in NBCSN season finale for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West. We're in Bakersfield, California for the West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame 150, the title fight. But
in the second half to hopefully go and challenge for the win.
Closing in on just 50 to go here. Gilliland has done exactly what he's needed to do here tonight, and that is keep that car clean, keep it up at the front, and let everybody else have their issues. Going for win number 7 here today.
He has, and we've just seen some tremendous racing here tonight, Ralph. This has been awesome to watch these cars fan out all over the racetrack and using those multiple grooves, using a little bit of push and shove at times to try and make some passes, but this has just been some great racing for the K&N West Series finale.
Here's Julian Landauer battling on the outside of Nicole Behar. They're fighting at the back end of the top 10. Oh, Julian, hang on to that.
Wow.
And she takes the spot.
Very loose off the corner there. And we've seen Julia really use that outside lane from the start of this race really effectively and make a lot of speed up there, driving all the way just in the top 5 early in the race. Slipped back a little bit as we got to the halfway point here, but now moving forward again and really making some headway up top.
How about Eggleston? He's trying to fight his way through. He's got to get through all these cars and get a lap or so back here.
He does. He's doing what you do as a race car driver. Now at this point, just drive as fast as you can and hope it works out. And so he's 3 laps down right now, not making positions by passing these cars, but just proving how fast that race car is and kind of taking that to heart that he knew if without that issue, he'd still be competing for this championship.
Meanwhile, at the front, nothing changes. Bassett's still out front. Here's Riley Herbst in the 54, fighting with a pair of the Sunrise Fords, a Self and Thorne. And again, don't forget, Self is in that battle for 3rd in the championship. Kraus, Rogers, and Self, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the title fight right now, separated by just 4 points as they fight over 3rd. That's a good battle there.
It's a great battle. That's a fun battle to be in, as we've seen Michael Self kind of go to the front, back, and now back to the front again. He's making a lot of headway once again on that outside lane. And just looks like those Sunrise Fords love that outside lane, whatever setup they've got inside them.
Heather, the Bassett brothers having a pretty good run here.
Just about 3 weeks ago, K&N East regulars Dylan Bassett and Ronnie Bassett Jr. were sitting on their couch bored after their season finale in Dover and decided, hey, let's go racing. So they made the trip out to California. This is their first time being here at Kern County Raceway. And they told me after watching film, they thought that this track would be like Iowa or Richmond, but it races completely different. Now, our current leader, the 44 of Dylan Bassett, during that halfway break, was really happy with his car. They made no adjustments, and he's hoping to stay out front for the rest of the race.
The night not going as well for Ronnie Bassett. He's much deeper in the field. I show him back in about 22nd right now, but it's been a good night for Dylan. And these 2 fast ladies here leaning on each other, putting on quite a show. Nicole Behar in the 33 and Julia Landauer in the 6. And closing in from behind here, the number 27 of Max Tolman.
And Ralph, they drove down the front stretch, completely connected the entire time as they get together again off of turn 4. This is an incredibly tight race right now between these two very young, very fast young women.
Julia sits 7th in the championship. She's got one 5th place finish, but she has really come on strong late in this season. And Nicole Bihar saying, you're not the only one deserving of some accolades here this year.
These two are really going at it. I'd say that's the type of move I expect to see, somewhere around 10 laps to go. Not exactly with how much 45 laps to go. I think it's a little aggressive this portion of the race, but these two obviously really going at it.
Well, Max Tolman trying to take advantage of those two squabbling over the position. He's going to split the difference in the 27. And that 04 of Ronnie Bassett trying to inch up 2. Here we are, Parker, back at the front, and nothing's changed.
Yeah, Dylan Bassett continuing to lead and using that bottom lane throughout this entire race. As he gets a little up the racetrack there, just maybe drove it in a little too hard, and that allowed Kraus to get to the bottom of him here as Gillen trying to use that outside lane to get by as well. Now he goes to the bottom. This is a very tight race, and this is the first time I've seen Dylan Bassett throughout this race have to fight on the outside and make headway, and it just does not look like his race car is as good up there as he is on the bottom.
Well, I said that too soon, didn't I? Nothing has changed. Now he's going to go from 1st to 3rd as both of the McAnally cars get around him. Wonder if the 44 is starting to lose some of its oomph here today. He's dropping back pretty quickly. Todd Gilliland in the 16 looking to wrap up another championship here on the West Coast, and that's something the Gillilands have done a lot out here. Grandpa Butch winning the championship. His crew chief in 97 was David Gilliland, who also has 4 career K&N Pro Series West victories. Butch Gilliland already inducted into the West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame. Wouldn't be surprised to see David and someday Todd in there as well. Meanwhile, the 44 continuing to drop back here, Parker.
And to me, this is a result of 2 things. One, not making any changes under the halfway break. I never like it when I hear that, because to me, that tells you not thinking ahead. You're not thinking about the racetrack changing and the car changing and making changes for the fact that your tires are going to be more worn out. And as we see Dylan Bassett run around here, one thing I'm also noticing is he's got those rear brake calipers actually glowing right now. So he's really having to use the brakes right now, and that's just not a great place to be, falling back and most likely abuse those tires too much, and at the same time didn't make the necessary changes in halfway break.
10 to go, and not making the necessary changes, some of that could go to the fact that it's their first time here. Maybe they don't know what to do or what to expect.
No doubt. I mean, that's definitely something that can hinder you not having the experience at this racetrack as all these other K&N West teams do have. But you've just got to think, as a racer, as much experience as they have in the K&N E-Series, to not make any changes under the halfway break, to me, is just a little bit of a mistake, because you've got to think these cars change after they're going to have another 75 laps on the tires.
So Michael Self moved past. Self trying to move himself up into the 3rd slot in the championship standings, if he can do it. Here's the 19 up at the front. Having a pretty solid run up here. Let's learn more about the Bill McAnally cars and how they're performing. Here's Heather.
As we've seen so many times this season, those Bill McAnally racing teammates race each other hard. As we watch the battle here with Todd Gilliland and Derek Kraus, I talked to Derek about racing his teammates hard, and he said, you know what? They're just another driver. But Bill McAnally told him, I don't mind you racing hard as long as you keep it clean. Currently, Derek is leading this race, and he is still searching for his first win of his career. So you better believe he's not just going to let that 16 by him.
Gilliland with 2 victories here at Kern County would love another one, and it'd be a great way to wrap up a championship season as we come to the final race of the 14-round schedule for 2017.
And Ralph, Heather brings up a great point there in her conversation with Bill McAnally about letting these young drivers race it out. I know there's a lot at stake, but that's what the fans have come out here to see. That's what the drivers are in this series to do, is to learn to race hard and race cleanly. And I just love that ideology by that race team. Let these guys race it out and figure it out on the racetrack.
Looks like the 44, who led so many laps early, still in 5th, but Parker, he's going down a lap.
Exactly. That's just to show you what can happen when you don't make the necessary adjustments and you don't take care of those tires. You can fall back that hard to go from leading this race to being lapped at the end. What a devastating second half of the race for Dylan Bassett.
Kraus ran so good here at the spring race, finished 2nd. Looking to improve one spot here with 3 to go. And I don't think he's going to get a lot of pressure for Gilliland. Todd's pretty happy sitting right where he is, title in sight.
Definitely, and I don't think Todd's really had quite the speed of that 19 car. I've seen him move around the racetrack a little bit, but that 19 has been very strong, either top or bottom, and really strong on the restarts. Derek Kraus has just done a great job here tonight.
Derek in his Carlisle Tools Napa back number 19. Got a bright future in front of him. But let's talk for a second about our soon-to-be 2017 champion. He almost won the East title. Has a great shot here in one lap of taking the West. How soon is he ready to move up, do you think, Parker?
Well, I've actually gotten to race against him in the Truck Series, Ralph, and I can tell you that what you see here in the Can-Am Series translates to the trucks. He's very fast, he's very clean, and he's a racer that thinks far beyond his years.
Here comes Derek Kraus in the 19. He'll take the win and the Rookie of the Year title, but the championship will go to Todd Gilliland, his 2nd in a row in the K&N Pro Series West.
What an impressive season by Todd Gilliland. Impressive win by Derek Kraus, his teammate here, to get his first win. Did all the right things, made the right adjustments in the halfway break, and went up there and really took hold of this victory.
There he is, the 2017 NASCAR K&N Pro Series West champion. Bill McAnally Racing taking the title once again. Their 3rd in a row. 2nd consecutive for Gilliland, and they finish 1-2 here tonight as Kraus takes the win and the Rookie of the Year title as well. Celebration about to begin. We'll have it all for you right here on NBCSN. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Welcome back to Bakersfield, California. The West Coast Stock Car Hall of Fame 150 wraps up the 2017 championship season. And there is Derek Kraus parked in Victory Lane, ready to crawl out and celebrate a great night here. Let's head down to Victory Lane. Here's Heather DeBow with our winner.
Derek Kraus, your winner here at Kern County Raceway. First win in the K&N West Series here for Bill McAnally Racing for this young 16-year-old. He worked really hard for it tonight. Getting a big hug there from Bill McAnally. Derek, finally you broke that 2nd place streak. You got your win. But Eric Holmes, your spotter, was telling you over the radio, be smooth, don't get too aggressive. But how hard was it for you knowing Todd was behind you and he was coming?
Yeah, he's been really good here. He was really good tonight. I think we saved a little bit more, and we saved a lot. Like Eric was in my ear the whole night just to save. And I think that's what helped us in the long run. I just got to thank everyone here on my crew. They stuck with me the whole year. And just the Carlisle Tools number 19 Toyota Camry was phenomenal tonight.
This is your first full-time season with Bill McAnally Racing. How would you evaluate it? What grade would you give yourself?
It's been a really good year this year. I think we had a lot of 2nd place finishes. We've been looking for that first win, and we got that first win tonight. A lot of family here. My Miss Finetti, she can't be here tonight, but I know she'll be watching. She's really excited tonight.
Well, congratulations, Derek. Great run out there.
Thank you.
Well, he's got a bright future in front of him, doesn't he?
No doubt. That was a very impressive night, not only to beat some of the best in the K&N West Series, but to beat his teammate Todd Gilliland, who wins the championship. Just an overall very impressive night.
Here's a look at the final results. You know what? He led a lot of laps. He didn't finish in Victory Lane, but still a good run for Dylan Bassett in 5th.
Was a great run. I just keep thinking about that halfway break and not making those adjustments. I really think that was a faulty move by that 44 team to not do that and allowed them to fall back from being able to win this race.
Here's 3rd place, Riley Herbst.
Finishing third tonight is Riley Herbst. Riley, this is your second start this season. You've been racing ARCA full-time, but you told me earlier that you love this racetrack. Why do you think it suits your driving style so well?
I don't know. I just love how racy it is. It's smooth. It's fast. It's kind of like a small mile and a half to say, but it was cool to come here to relax a little bit after the ARCA season with the David Gillen guys. If anybody wants to go K&N racing, those are the guys to call. Those guys are the best in the business. We just fought a little bit of drive-off, but I can't thank everybody at Tillable Herbst enough and NOS Energy Drink for letting me come out and play here at Kern County.
Now look at the final point standings. Gillen will win it by 29. And Derek Kraus will get that Rookie of the Year title in a great run to third in the overall standings as well. Well, 2 titles back-to-back for Todd Gillen here on the West Coast. Let's hear from the newly crowned champ.
Todd Gillen is your 2017 K&N West champion. Back-to-back championships for this young teenager. He has a bright future ahead of him. Todd, you worked really hard for this championship. What has this journey meant to you, and how does this championship compare to last year's?
Yeah, I think this one's even more special, just with having the feeling of defeat from Dover, and I think that just lit even more fire in everyone's hearts here, and just made them work even harder. And this is a brand new car to bring home the championship here at Kern. So got to thank Napa, Toyota, Frontline Enterprises, everyone that gets us here to be able to compete how we do.
You guys worked really hard this season competing for championships in both of the East and the West. You've raced some truck races as well. How do you think that prepares you for the next steps in your career?
Yeah, everything's really important. Restarts, having to save your tires, just racing people side by side. So, it's all part of it that we got to learn and keep moving up, and that's why we're racing all these races. So it's a lot of fun racing with our teammates, and being able to come home 1, 2, 3 is important. Good job, Todd. Thank you.
Now let's talk about the race here. You just got a congrats from your teammate Derek. He won. You finished second. Was there anything else you had left for him at the end?
Man, I don't know. I wish I would have saved a little bit more in the middle, but it's so hard because there's people behind you. And, I think we were both running as hard as we could. He was sideways, I was sideways. So, it's hard saying, but I definitely wish we could have got the win. But I'm super proud of everyone back here. It took a lot of heart and dedication to run 27 K&N races this year. And, end up here with the championship trophy is very special.
Now let's bring in your team owner, Bill McAnally. Bill, this is your third consecutive title in a row, 8th, which is a record in this series. These drivers that you have race each other week in and week out really hard. How's your heart? Are your nerves shot yet?
There's been times this year, I'll tell you, they've raced each other hard, but to finish tonight, see our rookie Derek Kraus get his first win and Todd get his second consecutive championship, it takes a lot of good people to do that, and BMR this year had a lot of good people, and here we are.
Congratulations again on another great championship. And I want to bring in one more guy, crew chief Chris Lawson, if he could come over here. Chris, we didn't get to talk to you yet this season, but this is your second championship as a crew chief. What does that mean to you?
It's huge, just to get to work with Todd for 2 consecutive years now, actually 4, but 2 years in the K&N, and to work with him and the abilities that he has, and it's amazing.
Well, congratulations again, and a great year to you guys. These guys are walking away champions. Once again, for 2017, Todd Gillen, your K&N West champ.
Well, a real powerhouse organization and NASCAR competition. Bill McAnally Racing, the West Coast team, did it again. Almost took both championships this year. Parker, it's been a great year. Enjoyed working with you once again. I think this K&N Pro Series West title fight shows you got a lot of young talent coming up through the pipeline.
No doubt, and how impressive by Todd Gillen to run in both the East and the West and to pick up this championship in the West Series. We've seen some of the future stars of NASCAR this year.
NBCSN has been proud to bring you the coverage of the entire 2017 NASCAR K&N Pro Series West Championship. For Heather DeBow and Parker Kligerman, I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long for now, and congratulations to the newly crowned champion, Todd Gillen.